Here's the reason why I don't fix and flip and I only wholesale. Intro. For those of you, if you don't know my story, I actually started in real estate about 10 years ago, and I started out as a fix and flipper. And my whole thing was, hey, why should I make $5,000 or $10,000 on a deal when I can fix and flip it and make 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, right? Basically a larger amount. And let me tell you something. Sometimes when you get into this whole fix and flip games, things doesn't work out the way that you plan. So I got into a piece of property that I thought I was going to make $150,000, but it took me over a year and a half to actually finish it. It was actually a burn house, and I ended up making about, I think, 60 or maybe 60,000 on it or something like that. And you know, let me tell you something. Throughout those whole period, I was stressing out, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, dealing with the city, the contractor, the subcontractors. I mean, I was stressing out and I didn't have a good sleep. Plus, at the time, I was doing like 4 projects at the same time. I think I got about $1.3 or $1.5 million tied up, and I was just so overwhelmed. You know, my whole thing was I was trying to go too fast, too quick. You know, I was new into the game, so I was trying to learn the process, but also too is, you know, I was doing everything myself, finding the deals, running the construction crew, and I know nothing about construction, so like I was learning the whole thing, and I was trying to do too much at the same time. And I think that's the one reason why I got caught in almost losing everything that my wife and I have worked so extremely hard for the past 10 years. Listen, I tried everything. I tried to sub it out myself, be the general contractor, sub everything out, which means you got to do a lot more work. I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was going to Home Depot. I was dealing with the contractor. They're not showing up to the website. And they will sign a contract with you saying, hey, you know, I am going to be at the job site. I'm going to get this done in X amount of time. But it never happens. It always go overpriced, over the time that is expected. If your main business is going to be the whole fix and flip game, and maybe 10 or 20% will be wholesale, if I were you, if that's the route you want to go, you must have reserve and do not over leverage. And if I were you, just go slow and steady. Listen, hard money lender, all right, boom, they can eat up your profit very, very quickly. When you fix and flip, you must know your numbers, all right? Because if you don't, poof, all the profit gone. With wholesaling, if you tie the property under contract at a wrong price, you can at least go back and renegotiate and try to see how you can make it work. But when you fix and flip, you already bought the property, and if your number is wrong, you're stuck with it. You're doomed. Another one, you got to have a good team. Get a good contractor. And listen to me, don't ever go cheap. All right, when you go cheap, when a contractor promises you that they're going to do that for cheap because they want to win your bid, I'm telling you, that contractor will give you more of a stress, of a headache than if you were to pay someone a little bit more, not like top dollars, but I would get like 3 or 4 bids. The best way to get a good contractor, and I know some investor will share with you and some investor won't. They just want to keep their contractor to themselves. But I would call around, look for, ask other flipper who they use and who they would recommend. All right, don't go with the cheapest one. Trust me, I made so much mistake going with the cheap one. It ended up costing me way, way more than if I were to pay someone even at top dollars. All right, they go in, they get it done. The cheap one, because you gotta understand something gotta give and take. All right, if their bid comes in so low, well, guess what? They got to cut down their material costs. They got to cut corners to make that profit. And when they cut corners, guess what? You're the one who's going to take the hit. When you deal with these contractors, you want to make sure that you walk through the property with them. You make sure that you write everything on paper in a contract. I would even do a video, all right? I would even do a video walking through them, all right? Having them, at the end of the video, telling them, here's what's going on, blah, blah, blah. This is what you guys are going to do. And boom, that's how much the price is. And then we signing the contract with them. I'm telling you, like, these contractors play games. All right, they play games. They will tell you all kinds of stuff. And listen, do not ever pay them before the construction, before the work is done. Them come to me with a bunch of stories. Hey, Khang, could you pay me in advance? You know, I just got tied up with this. I ran into this. I got some family issue, this and that, yada, yada, yada. I end up paying them, and guess what? They don't show up the next day. They don't show up the next week. And some of them just disappear. All right? So do not ever pay them no matter what. Listen, if they can ask you once and you do it, I promise you, they'll ask you to do it another time. And it's always to be upfront and to let people know that, hey, friends is one thing and business is one thing. Just don't mix those two together. It can be a disaster. If you're getting into a major rehab, all right, always pull permit. Always pull a permit, which means you go down to the city, you get a permit from them. You got to come in with a floor plan of what you need to do to the property. Honestly, the city or the county, they're there to basically help you to make sure that, you know, your constructions is going correctly, that your contractor is not cutting corners, right? I mean, they can give you headaches, right? The city and the county, they can give you headaches because some of them can be picky and this and that. But trust me, if you don't pull a permit, the city comes out. Listen, I make all the mistakes. They red flag you. Now you got to go in. They're going to be even more strict looking at your property because to them, you kind of basically do behind their back. You're basically doing behind their back without pulling permit, right? They want you to put permit. They want you to pay for whatever you need to do, right? So the city can get their money, which is fine. It's just that some of them can get a little bit picky, so it makes your construction goes a lot slower. But listen, slower is better when you are doing it right. All right? When you mess up and then later on you sell the property to an end buyer and they can come back and they can sue you. You can get them a bunch of lawsuit because something has done wrong. Because as a buyer, I think you got to warn the property for like 2 years or so. So if there's anything major happening within that 2 years, the potential buyer can go back and cause an issue with you and can sue you for whatever was going on, what that you did with the rehabs. Anyways, there's just so much more stuff involved in the whole fix and flip. That are some of the tips that I can give you, but there's just much more. Share with you all the rehab that I went through, all the nightmares, all the mistakes, so you can actually learn and actually don't make those mistakes. And I can sit here all day to talk about it. I have pictures to show you. Looking back, it's just a nightmare for me. Anyways, if you decided you want to go the fix and flip route, I wish you nothing but the best. And remember this, always make sure that you have some reserve in case anything happens. And slow and steady. Do not take on more than what you can chew. Trust me, don't chase the numbers, chase the profit. Don't compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 10. So maybe you're doing 1 and you're looking at another investor and he or she is doing 5 to 10 a month and you focus on chasing that instead of focus on profit, learn, and then just build slowly. That's my tip to you. And anyways, I realized that, you know what, this is just not for me. You know, it's like whole running the crew, it's just not for me. And I remember someone in my meetup group and said, hey, Khang, you're so good at finding deals. Why don't you just wholesale? You know, at the time I heard about wholesaling, but like I said, I pushed it away. I said, okay, well, you know what? Let me give it a shot. So I found this house. It was actually listed on the market. They took it off the market because they have some family issue. The son didn't want to sell. The mom wanted to sell. And they were like people coming in and actually bid over asking price and they still won't sell it. They took it off the market. I actually sent them a letter saying I wanted to buy their property. The son called me up and I tried to negotiate, but like I said, he doesn't want to sell. So he put it back. And then and then the mom called me back, and then we talked, and then we negotiate. I didn't get a lockup on the contract on the first phone call. I follow up. Anyways, lock it up on the contract on the third phone call. Met her at McDonald's, signed the contract right there. And I was, within 7 days, I was able to find a buyers, close on the deals, and made $28,000 within like 7 days. And I said, holy smokes. If I can do this in 7 days, no stress, no headache, I'm not buying it, I'm not fixing up, I don't need to do the work, like, this is it. Like, this is a game changer. Quit my fix and flip operation. I went all into wholesaling. My God, man, my business just boom, just launched. You know, I was doing 50, 60K a month with like no stress. Then I got to 100,000 a month. Then I start hiring on VAs that will help me filter, qualify the leads. And I got to the point where I was wholesaling over $100,000 a month with a very low overhead, only with a couple of VAs. And I was only working 2 hours a day. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is the life that I want. Like, I'd rather make less on my deal and not have to worry about putting out the fire every single day when I wake up. I don't want to stress about it. I just want a simple life, right? An easy, stress-free, simple life. So comment down below if you are kind of like that. Listen, I quit my job not to get into another, right, business that I have to work even harder than I was grinding at my job. You know, the whole goal when we quit the job, my wife and I said that, hey, we want freedom, time freedom, to be able to travel, to do whatever we want and still make the money at the same time. I've been virtually wholesaling for the past 4.5 years, which means I don't see the seller, I don't see the property, I don't meet up with my buyers. All this was done all over the phone, and my employee is all VAs, which is virtual assistant. All of them are from the Philippines. They filter, they qualify the leads for me. They set an appointment. We got system in place where they qualify the leads. They lock the property under contract over the phone, and they're able to sell the deal with or without me being involved. I'm not saying that the whole fix and flip game, like you can't systemize it where you don't have to work, in the business. To me, it's just a lot harder, right? And it takes a lot more to scale up to a big operation. To a 6-figure a month, you got to scale your operations pretty big, right? And there's a lot of money involved. Like, you're going to tie your money up in these property. And if there's anything wrong with the market, like if you wake up tomorrow and the market drops 10%, 20%, guess what? You better have some backing, right? You better have a lot of reserve, all right, to actually sustain the market crash. So my whole thing is, I'd rather take $20,000 versus a potential $60,000 flip, where I know that $60,000 flip could turn into a $5,000 deal. And yes, it has happened to me where we were going to make like $80,000 on this fix and flip. It took me almost a year to do it, and I end up making $5,000 on it. Now listen, I'm super blessed and I'm super grateful that throughout my whole journey, my whole experience, the learning and all of that, I haven't lost any money on my fix and flip, right? We came in less, but we never lost any money. So I'm super grateful and blessed for that. And, throughout my whole journey, man, I got to say, thank God for like being able to like carry me through all this, basically carry me through the journey, because there were times where I break down and I cry and I was like, maybe this is not for me, maybe I should just quit and just go get a job. I don't have to worry about all of this and the taxes and dealing with all this mess and waking up every single day and just with headaches and stress. But you know what? That entrepreneur spirit in me just won't allow it. Like, it just won't allow me to settle and work for someone for the rest of my life. Trust me, I face a lot of dark days where I cry for 4 days, like 4 nights, cry myself to sleep because I was so overwhelmed and I was so stressed out that I felt like there was no way up for me. And like I said, through those tough times, through those darkness, the wife was always there for me to push me, to encourage me. So that really, really helps. But I got to tell you, God, I'm not trying to be religious, or I'm not trying to get religious or anything like that. But I got to say like what it is. God was there for me through those dark days and helped me see the lights at the end of the tunnel and actually pushed me through it. Because I tell you, there were times where I was going to lose everything and didn't know a way out. But some magical miracle reason, it just all works out. The people came at the right time. The money came in at the right time. We're able to close on this house where it wasn't supposed to close sooner, right? And it all just happened. And so I got to tell you this, is do what you can. Try not to stress yourself out so much. Trust the process. And just trust the process and just know that everything will work out in your favor. I just rather do more wholesale deal than focus on fixing and flipping a house that I can potentially make double or triple the money, but I can also potentially lose everything. So I rather that and then just take that money, just keep it very simple. Take that money and buy rental property, all right, for passive income. The ultimate goal is to build up this cash cow, all right, to buy my cash flow, which is rental property. And that's all I wanted to do. I don't want to go into the whole fix and flip, raising capitals, getting into partnerships, none of that. Simple life, simple business. If that is also you, all right, all you want to do is wholesale, make that money, live the life you want, travel, do whatever you want, whenever, where, and with whoever the F you want, then welcome to my channel, because that's exactly what I'm going to show you to do. I'm going to show you how to turn your annual income into monthly through wholesaling real estate. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it does add some value to you. And until next time, take care and ciao.